My dilemma is that hurricane season is coming and I would love to keep sailing. I just don't know what my options are to get my boat to a place where I could sail without spending 6 months to get there. Welcome to Stir Crazy Sailing and Adventures. I'm Dennis. Hey, welcome back. I missed you. I've already done the solo sailing trip of a lifetime from the Great Lakes to the Bahamas. Now, I'm looking for our next adventure. I really enjoyed where we've been. I know you're going to have fun where we're going. And I really wouldn't want to do it without you, the crew. Just a gorgeous day. I'm glad you are here, and I hope you enjoy the ride. Ride being the operative word for us hitting the highway so we can save months getting to what folks have told me is the best part of doing the Great Loop. The best way for me to explain why we're going where we're going compared to the Bahamas is like this. And if you are a boater or a sailor who cares more about what is above the surface than what is below it, you belong here. You will love this place. My explanation requires backtracking a bit to the Bahamas, where something I told you before now may ring a bit differently in the context of where we're going and why. It's perfect for those folks who get into the whole beach scene, the beach culture, just enjoying the slow pace of living and, you know, wandering on the beach and getting your feet wet. Is that for me? Hell no. I'm going crazy here. This is as far as we go on this journey. Green Turtle Key, Bahamas. From here, we go in a different direction. I think we need a little bit more balance in our adventures. Sailing will always be part of it, but I think we need a little variety in our adventures, don't you? Yeah. With the goal of making some of these adventures less life-altering and more bite-sized to make them more achievable for so many of us. Still, this is very nice. Thanks for joining me. Finally deciding to go all in on adventure means that the major decision is really on my doorstep. It's time for me to sell my cottage, the only home I own. It's a small place that's got a great view, a little bit of lakefront in a great neighborhood. I've spent the last 10 years fixing it up from the hovel that it was into the cute little place that it is. And so I don't need lakefront property anymore. I look at enough water. What I really need is to make the change, and we all change, don't we? I am a sailor, first and foremost, but I do expect to come across some greener pastures. Is there a chance for disaster? Well, yeah, of course there is. But the time comes when a guy has to say, and away we go. Hey, welcome back. We are putting on the sails today. We're on our way to Canada, but we can't do that without the sails, right? It's going to take us a little while to get there. We'll make some stops that I think you'll really enjoy. And after going all the way to the Bahamas and getting back to Florida, I'm really looking forward to some Great Lakes sailing. And I hope you are too. Canada? Doesn't sound like an exotic destination. Wait till you see where we are going. Yeah. It's exotic and beautiful and compares nicely, I think, to the Bahamas. That's right. I'm saying that cruising the Great Lakes up into Canada is every bit as enjoyable during its best season, July and August, as sailing in the Bahamas during their best season, the winter and spring. You know that you're really ready for sailing season when the sails go on, of course. I don't know how many times I've done this. I did it, let me see, when we started, and then had to do it again after we got through the Erie Canal and at Hoppeno's Marina on the Hudson River in New York. And then, I guess I didn't have to put on the sails again until I had a couple of times I had to have sails fixed. So it came off again, and I came off again in Deltaville, Virginia, and then my Genoa came off in Hilton Head. So yeah, I've had the sails off a few times and had them put on a few times. It's always fun to do when there's a little bit of wind, but this is really where the rubber meets the road, and I'm so happy to be doing it here. I'm glad that you joined me. It's nice to be back. I chose to splash the boat and begin our journey in Muskegon at Torreson Marine because there's no boatyard that has a better reputation. Impressive high-performance sailing boats are kept at Torreson, as well as some of the adorable little ones. Before raising the sails, I still have a few things to do. It's splash day, and we're jamming out here. So much to do. I've got to put the spreaders on the mast, get the mast on the boat, get the boat in the water. No big deal. A major maintenance item was replacing my lifelines. Salt had certainly taken its toll, as had time, but I also recognized my hardware was well short of where it needed to be. To tell you that story, let's go back to Fort Pierce, Florida, on the hook. This is a toothbrush. That's not what I intended to have in my hand. Thinking about what just happened. I just moved my lifelines back, unclipped them because I'm going into a marina. I figured I needed to do that to clear customs. It ended up that I don't, but it'll be okay. But I was moving my lifeline so that I can hop onto the dock if I need to. And when I did, this fell out because it didn't have a pin in it. I think that when I was dropping the Genoa, the rope's flopping around, hooked on one of these clevis pins that holds this lifeline in place and pulled it out. Had I fallen against that lifeline, it wouldn't have man, close call. Wow. Out with the old, taking it off, boss. In with the new. Because we never take unnecessary chances. With the preliminary work done, let's start heading north. The old Catalina is tracking quite nicely. If I can keep it down around 340. I know you can see those. That is a big cliff. That's got to be 300, 400 feet. 300. Back in the Bahamas, about the only place I saw any really remarkable topography was in Little Harbor. A lot of orange roofs around here. Not sure what the Howard Johnson theme is for, but lots of Hojo roofs. Roofs. Hooves and roofs. I know. Pretty cool though. Cool houses up there. The homes in the dunes were just a little bit too far off for my camera, but the shoreline is amazing. She feels like she's on rails, getting bounced around a little bit by the waves, but I just have the knob locked off and it's bouncing between like 344 and 338. Of course it would bounce up to 337, 350 then. Minor adjustment. so we can get her back on track. But not a lot of work today. Awesome. And we're doing 7. This is good. This is good. The waves will knock us up to a higher compass point, and then once the wave passes, we drop back down closer to what we want for our course, which is 340. Just a hair to the left. That's port. How do you know? Because port is spelled with 4 letters, and so is left. Which light is on the left and which light is on the right on the bow? Port is usually a red wine. Red's on the left. Just so you know. Just in case you find yourself, you know, on a sailboat someplace all by yourself, wondering whether or not the people off in the distance in the dark can see which light you've got showing. I know that happens to us sometimes. Occasionally we find ourselves in situations like that, alone on a sailboat in the middle of a dark sea. Just so you know.
While heading north along Michigan's west coast, a sailor will find a bounty of inlets to drowned river mouths and lakes and channels for great places to anchor without the need to even go into a marina.
Hold on tight, there's a storm standing in the eye. When it rains, it pours.
It's a quaint small town here in Pentwater with a beautiful anchorage and a great downtown. I'll fly the drone through downtown or show you some pictures later. Just, you know, very typical, just, you know, Americana. Flags waving in front of storefronts and old buildings, and a place that opens for breakfast here at 9 o'clock.
Pentwater has a colorful flair. It's an inviting little town, if you can find it. In very rural Oceana County, a place that has only 1 traffic light in it, Pentwater is a little gem. It's a little bit like Mayberry. They still have their annual Easter egg hunt in the park, and there's a children's store that would make any kid happy. Whether on the hook or catching some Z's in the marina, Pentwater is a great place to run from a storm, and certainly welcoming enough to just go and visit. Yes, life certainly moves slowly in Pentwater, yet it's got its own magic, for sure.
Levioso. If you're going to be a sailor, you kind of have to get used to spiders and webs and leaves hanging in midair from spider webs, I guess.
There are plenty of boat yards and marinas in Pentwater, but you could still find the hulk of an old floater right in the middle of downtown. In my travels, I looked for places where I could find a mooring buoy if I needed to leave the boat for a few days for any reason. Pentwater is one of those places that is so protected, a sailor could just drop anchor, leave, and return in a few days with nothing to worry about.
Gotta love this channel here. Beautiful little homes. Pentwater's a lovely, lovely, lovely place. We're having so much fun. Yes, don't try this at home. Denny needs to get back in the cockpit with his life jacket on. Jeez. But this is fun!
Lots of great sailing ahead, and maybe some not so great sail handling, but we'll also be seeing some beautiful ports, some great harbors, and some anchorages that are so remote, well, it's left pretty much to you and me. Thanks again. I'll see you again soon.